1-1 draws on the opening match day. All four nations sit locked on a single point with a completely symmetrical goal difference. The margin for error has effectively shrunk to zero. For Switzerland, this evening is entirely about correcting the wastefulness that plagued their opening performance. They amassed a staggering 3.24 XG against Qatar, played some beautiful transitional football and led through a clinical Briel Embolo penalty. But they failed to put the game to bed, squandering chance after chance before Boualem Kouki stunned them with a 94th minute equaliser. Murat Yakin knows that dropping points tonight would turn their final group game nightmare against a formidable Canada side playing on home soil in Vancouver. The pressure on the Swiss veterans to deliver a victory right now is immense. Bosnia and Herzegovina, by contrast, are playing with the house money of a team that wasn't even supposed to be here. After a chaotic, miserable qualifying cycle that saw them win just 4 out of 19 matches, the appointment of legendary former captain Sergej Barbarets has completely revolutionised their internal culture. Barbarets has aggressively recruited young dual national talents who chose to represent Bosnia out of pure emotion and heart. They showed massive resilience to hold on to a point against Canada in Toronto, utilising an old-school physical defensive blueprint. They're currently riding a 6-match drawing streak, and they know that if they can frustrate the Swiss tonight and pinch something on the counter, a spot in the knockout rounds is suddenly within touching distance. And as the players finish their final conversations on the pitch, once again, make sure you have your television set tuned in. You can follow the live match visually on your local or regional TV broadcaster and keep our independent studio feed as your primary audio track. Well, the official team sheets have been processed. Both managers have thrown some highly intriguing selection wrinkles into their starting lineup. Let's start with Switzerland, where Murat Yakin has opted for 2 distinct personnel changes following that frustrating draw with Qatar. He maintains his core defensive and midfield spine, but injects fresh energy into the wider areas. Sylvain Widmer is recalled to the starting 11 at right back, bringing his veteran leadership and reliable engine back into the defensive line. The second big inclusion sees the tireless Fabian Rieder promoted to the starting lineup. Rieder is an absolute favourite of Yakin due to his relentless work ethic, and he'll be tasked with leading the high press from the front. So it's a deeply experienced lineup. Gregor Kobel starts between the sticks. The back four consists of Widmer, Manuel Akanji, Nico Elvedi and Ricardo Rodriguez. The irreplaceable captain Granit Xhaka anchors the engine room alongside Remo Freuler and Michael Eberscher, while Fabian Rieder and Dan Ndoye will provide the creative spark either side of the target man Briel Embolo. And as the countdown to kick-off commences, let's turn to Bosnia and Herzegovina, where Sergej Barbarets has made 3 sweeping changes to the side that drew with Canada. And the headline news is monumental. The immortal 40-year-old captain Edin Dzeko returns to the starting lineup after being left entirely on the bench for the opening game. The country's all-time record goalscorer is back to lead the line. His presence alone completely Vasil in goal. A highly physical defensive unit features Talek Muharemovic, Sead Kolasinac, Amar Dedic and the uncompromising Nikola Katic. The midfield trio consists of Benjamin Tahirovic, Ivan Sunic and Amar Memic, leaving creative, fearless Alay Begovic and Ermedin Demirovic to operate alongside the iconic Edin Dzeko up front. And it's Alay Begovic, the teenager, who stands over this set piece on the left-hand side. A minute gone in Los Angeles, and a first set piece for Bosnia, one that's clipped deep towards the back post and nodded behind there by Sylvain Widmer, tracking back to make sure of it. Switzerland all in red tonight. Bosnia white shirts, white shorts and white socks, just some little flashes of blue on either sleeve of the Bosnia and Herzegovina players. All those anthems absolutely echoed through this stadium. In by Alay Begovic, a flat one, away by the Swiss. Here they come again though. It's laid off by Dedic. Kolasinac towards Dzeko, poked free. And now here comes Dan Ndoye, the Forest winger, caught by Nikola Katic. Bit of an underwhelming season for Dan Ndoye this year with Nottingham Forest. Just the one goal in the Premier League. That coming against Crystal Palace back at the start of the season. Since then it's been slim pickings for him. He was highly coveted by many across the Premier League, the former Bologna winger. Here's Mbolo. Laid off to Granit Xhaka. Well, the Swiss media haven't really been kind following that 1-1 draw with Qatar. The national tabloid back home in Switzerland, Bleak, has taken aim at captain Granit Xhaka. There are quote-unquote anonymous sources accusing him of being too negative in the aftermath. And they say it's created a bit of a toxic atmosphere. The players, of course, have denied that and tried to pour water on those flames being fanned back home. It doesn't sound like a happy camp, and you can understand that as Kolasinac tries to slip that forward towards Elmedin Demirovic. Comes Gregor Kobel to clear the danger. Xhaka with a number 10 on his back. Enjoying a renaissance as he returned to the Premier League this season with Sunderland. He'll be playing European football for the Black Cats next season. Akanji into Remo Freuler. And now Nico Elvedi. Elvedi. There's Ricardo Rodriguez towards Embolo. Held off Muharemovic, excuse me. The flag is up though on Briel Embolo. Only Xherdan Shaqiri has scored more goals at this level than Briel Embolo. The penalty against Qatar in the first match day was his 5th at this event. Shaqiri with 10, way out in front as Switzerland's leading goal scorer at this global tournament. It's picked off in midfield. Bosnia are a physical side, and it's Edin Dzeko winning it back, but Kolasinac it is on the left-hand side, who can't make the most of it. If you were lucky enough to watch the opening game between Canada and Bosnia and Herzegovina, you would have seen what atmosphere they bring, those Bosnian supporters. The yellow and blue is throughout this stadium, a wonderful ground. It's the home in the NFL of the Chargers and the Rams. Officially, over 70,000 can fit in, but for this tournament it's been reduced to around 69,650. According to the organisers. There aren't many spare seats. Here's Fabian Rieder out on that left-hand side. Ricardo Rodriguez. Freuler. Back to Rodriguez, left-hand side. Swings it into the penalty area. Awkward clearance from Muharemovic. It's out of play for a soft corner. Just unsighted by Nikola Katic in front of him. It's off the instep and behind. Plays his football for Sassuolo, Tarek Muharemovic. He's just a 23, but they think of him as being mature beyond his years. Abish's driven ball towards the near post, met by Dzeko. Yeah, Muharemovic speaks 5 different languages apparently. He's a vastly impressive young man, carries himself with a calmness that frequently make people forget that relatively young age, as Ricardo Rodriguez swings it in there from a central position. Sylvain Widmer didn't really get sight of the ball. Here's Kobel now in goal. On down the right-hand side, Widmer had stayed forward. Kolasinac wins the header. That's forward towards the edge of the centre circle, taken down by Nico Elvedi. Draws the foul. The Borussia Mönchengladbach defender. Here's Dan Doy, left-hand side of the penalty area. Tries the pullback. Wouldn't quite find Granit Xhaka. Vidmer, 30 yards from goal, right of centre. Now Xhaka tries one from a long way out, and that's off the head of Nikola Katic for another corner. And they found a bit of a rhythm here, the Swiss. Overloads in wide areas, and at the moment Bosnia and Herzegovina struggling to live with them. Granit Xhaka can hit them from that sort of position. He's the undisputed manager's right-hand man. He was handed his international debut by Otmar Hitzfeld as an 18-year-old at Wembley against England back in 2011, after winning the Under-17 World Cup. The header in towards the near post. Certainly silenced those critics who viewed that move from Arsenal to Bayer Leverkusen as a step down. He captained Xabi Alonso's side to an unbeaten Bundesliga title, the German Cup and the Europa League final. Just popped up and hit Tahirovic's hand. Slight miscontrol. From Benjamin Tahirovic. With Brøndby in Denmark. There's Ndoye in towards Mbolo, poked away by Katic. Vidmer trying to win it back, as is Nico Elvedi. Is Dzeko in the defensive position, scooped away by Mihajlovic. Kanji on the left-hand side again for Dan Ndoye, held up by Amar Dedic towards the penalty spot. Thumping header away by Mihajlovic. Akanji. Xhaka, lovely ball. Dan Ndoye tries to squeeze it at the near post. It hits the side netting. Thought initially that Nikola Vasil had got down and got a hand to it. It's good vision from the Sunderland midfielder, Granit Xhaka. Just popping into that inside channel, Dan Ndoye. He's done it a few times. First time he was found this afternoon, though, by Granit Xhaka. That's nodded back by Elvedi. And now with Kobel. That's Elvedi. Time to wander forward. Embolo will take over on the edge of the centre circle inside the Bosnia and Herzegovina half of the pitch. Now Xhaka. Through the middle, Embolo, he's free. The flag has stayed down. Mihajlovic has got back and got a toe to it. The flag eventually goes up. Oh, it's very tight. I think he might in fact be being played on by Sead Kolasinac on the near side. It was Nikola Katic in fact who was a little bit sluggish to get out. A better touch and Embolo might have been in there. Oh, he's a fascinating character, is Sergei Barbarets. He's a legendary former captain of the side, an iconic cult figure. Spent 15 years criticising how Bosnian football was run. He'd almost given up on the job after first expressing interest some 17 years ago. He took charge at the age of 52 with absolutely zero prior professional coaching experience. In fact, in his retirement, he played professional poker before he finally got the call from the Bosnian FA. And the bench around him is a veritable who's who of Bosnian stars of the past. Emis Bahic, appointed sporting director, Sasa Papac and Zlatan Bajramovic, all part of his coaching staff. Here's Ndoye on the left-hand side for Switzerland. Xhaka, Freuler, Akanji, Xhaka again, inside left channel, now Ndoye further wide. Dedic not quite getting to grips. Xhaka. Here's Rieder. Enjoy tried the delicate little finish. Didn't make contact. That means Mihajlovic can get it away. And Bosnia will win the throw on the far side. Well, they're getting in with alarming regularity here, Switzerland. At least from a Bosnian perspective. Probably should do better there, Darren Doy. Tries to just use the little back heel behind his legs to try and turn it on target. Dedic with the throw, immediately won back. Here's Fabian Rieder. Akanji. Reverse pass finds Freuler. Freuler for Elvedi. Elvedi to Akanji. It's a foul in the middle of the park on Briolembolo. Referee in Los Angeles today, João Pinheiro, the Portuguese official, assisted by Bruno Jesus and Luciano Maia. It's Dennis Hiegler of the Netherlands on VAR. Elvedi. Ebersche. Elvedi. Ebersche. Allowed to drive forward, Ebersche. Approaching the edge of the box now, pokes it wide. Here's Sylvain Widmer. There's the cross in. It's behind that group of 3 yellow shirts in the 6-yard box. Dimirovic finds Dzeko. Forward by Sinic. Lovely touch out on that far side of Bosnia. Maybe with their first attack. An opportunity to cross, and it's horribly overhit. Too deep from Amar Memic. He just got there before Ricardo Rodriguez and then accelerated away from him. He had options too. Dzeko through the middle. And at the back post, it was a half-decent run from Ermedin. And Dimirovic. He's just got a little bit overexcited there, Amar Memic. He plays his football for Victoria Pilsen. The Czech Republic, Amar Memic. It's quick, it's direct. It suits him with that swift turn of pace. Here's Akanji. In the corner of his own penalty area. Across to fellow centre-back Elvedi. Widmer. Kolasinac too strong for Rieder. Kolasinac clears. Bounces off the chest of Dimirovic, but it's Elvedi that picks up the loose ball for Switzerland. Tiptoeing his way towards the edge of the centre circle. Akanji finds Xhaka. Xhaka for Freuler. Rieder. Akanji. Rieder. Looking for Ndoye. Lovely ball. Close control, but it was nipped off his toe by Dedic. And then wins your side a free kick. Well done, Ndoye. Hails my heritage from Senegal, but his major breakthrough back at Euro 2024. Frequently holidays back on the African west coast in Senegal. He's became the second most expensive Swiss transfer in football history after Granit Xhaka, when Forest splashed out roughly £35 million to lure him away from Bologna. Rieder. Out on this left-hand side. Rodriguez. Xhaka. Erisha. Xhaka. Rodriguez. Rieda. To Akanji. To just step away from Edin Dzeko. Manchester City connection. Akanji, of course, now playing his football at Inter. He's a Premier League winner under Pep Guardiola. Is Vidma getting forward on the right-hand side, met by Begovic. We often talk about a mixture of youth and experience, but Bosnia, their side, well, it doesn't get much more dramatic. Led up front by the 40-year-old Dzeko. They have such high hopes for Kerim Begovic. Here's Ndoye on the left-hand side, darts to the byline, and again, Embolo just caught on his heels, allows Katic to clear it. Vidma, and he missed his kick. They had an opportunity to volley that across the 6-yard box with Briel Embolo well placed. It's a lovely ball as well from Remo Freuler. He swiped at thin air in the end, did Sylvain Vidma. He was caught in two minds there, whether to take it on himself and try and find Embolo. In the end, he did neither. Clearance too short for Kolasinac. Erbischer was there. Bosnia have won it back is Begovic, but the pass is loose, and now Dan Ndoye from a long way out, deflection, but it's gobbled up by Nikola Vasil. It was a fairly tame attempt from the Forest winger anyway. For a moment there was 3-on-1. Embolo's pass a little bit half-hearted, and I think anyway intended for Fabian Rieder. Dan Ndoye took it on himself. Muramovic. Kolasinac. Can't squeeze it forward. And by Vidna to Elvedi. Now Gregor Kobel. Now the undisputed first choice after Jan Sommer retired from international football 2 years ago. Took him 13 games to claim his first clean sheet for the national team. Struggled initially to replicate his Borussia Dortmund form. And things have been different. The Swiss goalkeeper, who's in possession at the moment, could have been a professional tennis player or snowboarder, or even ice hockey player before eventually choosing football. Xhaka with time and space as he sees Erbischer carry the ball forward. Now here's Xhaka, edge of the centre circle. Carls one out to Rodriguez on the left. Laid off for Freuler. Freuler for Xhaka. Xhaka back to Freuler. Erbischer again. Elvedi. Erbischer. Akanji. Freuler. There's Xhaka. Fist into Briolembolo. Right hand side is Vidma. High ball towards the back post, and Doy was underneath it. Just a bit too far for him. Will retrieve it from the touchline. Now here's Freuler. Winds one up from 25 yards, not too far away from Remo Freuler. Nikola Vasil was worried for a moment. Always swinging away from his goal, and that's the cue for João Pinheiro to blow the whistle and lead both sets of players over towards the touchline for the first hydration break of the afternoon. It's also been an opportunity for the coaches to bring their teams together and remind them of their tactical instructions. It's not particularly warm here, 20 degrees isn't roasting. On the eastern coast of the United States, you see much more humid conditions in Miami, of course, in Florida, and elsewhere across the United States of America. It's notable, though, if you have a little look at the teams and the players around Murat Yakin, at least forward Noah Okafor is there. He'll be waiting for his shots. At the turn of the year, no one really thought that he'd be at this tournament. Highly public fallout after a disappointing European campaign. Okafor bypassed his manager, met with directors, and he openly criticised Murat Yakin in the press. He frozen out the qualifiers entirely, but there's a remarkable twist. Murat Yakin travelled to Yorkshire to clear the air. Okafor issued a full apology to the squad, dug in at club level, and he's forced his way onto the plane. And you can see why he is part of this squad. Offers a raw, explosive point of difference that really no other Swiss centre-forward possesses right now. If it is still cagey and tight as we're heading towards the last half an hour, you could well expect to see the redeemed Maverick tossed into the mix. As the players take on some fluids, rehydrate in this remarkable stadium. Quick reminder to check your screens. Make sure you are watching the live action through your national or local TV broadcaster. And remember to keep our independent studio-based commentary locked in for full audio coverage. All 22 men just slowly making their way back out there onto the pitch. Opportunity here for Bosnia once again to make their mark on this competition. We'll restart with a goal kick, as you'd expect. All the stats so far this evening heavily favouring the Swiss. %76% possession from Murat Yakin's side. 4 shots, just the one on target though thus far. Those 26 shots they had against Qatar was the most they'd produced at this tournament since 1966. Generated an expected goals of over 3. And that was the problem for them, as they didn't take too many of their chances. Valverde getting forward, Xhaka just behind Embolo. Vasil will collect from the penalty spot. Kolasinac. Tough pass to handle for Alibegovic. Now Embolo just waited for it. Didn't really have the legs to get to him, the former Basel striker. Begovic, Dzeko, back to Begovic, and now Memic, who is resumed on the left-hand side after the drinks break. Kolasinac, Memic, holds off Erbischer, Sunjic, Begovic. Tries to get to the byline. It's the cut back away. Xhaka keeps his cool. Laid it off to Elvedi. And that's a shot by Sead Kolasinac on Breel Mbolo. Inside the Swiss half of the pitch will be a free kick. Boos and whistles from around the ground. It's a markedly Bosnian crowd this evening, this afternoon in Los Angeles. But the response comes from the Swiss supporters, the cowbells ringing. And, there's actually a man dressed as a cow ringing those bells. The pageantry and colour of this tournament unmatched. Clash of cultures, clash of ideas and clash of ways of supporting your national side. We've seen Scotland and England have their own particular way of doing that. DR Congo, of course, with their famous supporter who stands for all 90 minutes. The Swiss, well, they have a penchant for dairy. Rodriguez. Route 1. Looking for Embolo, and he finds Nicola Vassio. Be a free kick for Bosnia and Herzegovina on the left-hand side. Memic can't escape. Dedic can't escape. Katic will try and find a bit of space. Zahirovic it is, shoveling it back to Vasil, who then puts it out of play for a Swiss throw-in. Half an hour gone. Switzerland 0, Bosnia and Herzegovina 0. Widmer. Vasil. Chazonis. Mihajlovic takes it down. Zahirovic. Kolasinac. Is the Paphos midfielder Ivan Sunjic. Spell at Birmingham City. So there's Hertha and Dinamo Zagreb. There's Begovic, it's a Dzeko. Begovic found Dzeko towards the back post. It was a good ball. I'm not sure Zahirovic was expecting it to drop to him. Sunjic scoops it in. Kerbal will claim. The first little sight of Edin Dzeko trying to piece things together for Bosnia. Freuler. Xhaka to Ndoye. Xhaka spins one in down the left-hand side for Rodriguez. Tries to lay it off towards the edge of the box. Was under a bit of pressure. Couldn't find Rieder. Throw-in taken on the far side. It's into Akanji. And now Remo Freuler. Erbischer. Rieder. Freuler. Akanji. Xhaka. Back to Akanji. League and Cup double with Inter on loan from Manchester City this season. Ebischer takes over. Rodriguez. Out on that left-hand side now, Xhaka. Ebischer. Freuler. Akanji. Elvedi. It's good feet from Granit Xhaka. There's Mikel Ebischer. Tries to feed Vidma. Intercepted by Memic. Takes no chances, puts out a play on the opposite side of the pitch. And the throw-in is taken by Rodriguez into Granit Xhaka. Elvedi. Akanji just lurking on the edge of the centre circle. Xhaka closed down rapidly by Demirovic. Can be forced to throw in. Xhaka sweeps one aerially across to Nico Elvedi. Freuler. Xhaka. And Doi. Left hand side, once again looking to take on Dedic. Goes round the outside of him, looking towards the corner of the 6-yard box where Miharovic gets it away. There's Ndoi. Slight challenge came in from Amar Dedic. And it's another swish throw in. Elvedi. Vidma. Back to Manuel Akanji. Elvedi. Freuler will carry it forward. Akanji. Ricardo Rodriguez. Space in the middle. Freuler. Lifts one to Embolo, who peeled off his man towards the far side. And the header is back off Katic for another corner. A similar story to that first game. They've dominated proceedings here, Switzerland, but really haven't tested Nikola Vasil enough. Ebischer towards the near post. Dzeko defending the near post. Ebischer into Rodriguez. Square to Freuler. Freuler now will find Xhaka. Xhaka uses the outside of his left boot. High ball, punched away by Nikola Vasil, who crashed into a couple of his own defenders. Clever from Ndoi. And that's back off Katic, rattles off Ndoi. Goes for a goal kick. I think they're trying to increase the speed, the pace of their play in the final third here, Switzerland, but in doing so, just getting a little bit loose with the passing. As Vasil spots it up. Juggled by Dzeko. All the way back to Vasil. Just comes 10 yards outside of his penalty area. Katic. Haramovic. Now here's Alibegovic. Links up with Memic, both on the left-hand side at the moment. Memic stepping in to the middle and gets their first shot away. Kobel read it all the way, gobbles it up at his near post. Half a side to goal though for Amar Mimic. Here's Elvedi. Space out there on the left for Rodriguez. It's back to Akanji. Now Xhaka. Ebisher. Feeds Kobel. Forward by Xhaka. And below can lay it off. Finds Dan and Doy. Escapes the clutches of Muharremovich. Xhaka. Ebisher. Rieder. Freuler. Xhaka. That's off the referee. There'll be a drop ball to restart play. Switzerland too sharp even for the ref. He was right between Granit Xhaka and Dan and Doy. Unchallenged drop ball. Feet of Remo Freuler. Elvedi. By Gregor Kobel. And swept across by Freuler. Here comes Ricardo Rodriguez. Forward down the touchline for Ndoye. Ndoye twisting and turning. Tries to shake off Dedic. Referee points to the 6-yard line. It's a frustrated response from Dan and Doy, who thought he'd done enough to win the corner. Here's Vasil. Mihailovic. Back to Nikola Vasil. Tahirovic. Sunic. Kolasinac. Now one of the danger men, Begovic. Kolasinac passes behind Mimic. Intercepted by Elvedi. That's given away though by Vidma. Begovic in the penalty area. Demirovic lays off. Begovic, edge of the box. A shot from Dzeko. And Freuler flung himself in the way. Well, that's what he can do, Kerim Begovic. Dancing feet. Brilliant close control. Sucked in Swiss defenders, opened the space up for Edin Dzeko. Wanted it quicker. Kolasinac. Mimic. High towards the back post. Sails over Demirovic and Akanji. .40 gone. Half time, not far away now. It's Kobel. Won't reach Mbolo. Down by Muharremovich. Here's Sunic. Muharremovich. Sunic again. From Vasil. Dzeko. Here's Dedic. Oh, just stumbled and couldn't take the ball with him. Hands possession back to Switzerland. Rodriguez, Xhaka, Freuler. Back to Xhaka. Ricardo Rodriguez. Ndoye. Akanji. Nowhere to go for Manuel Akanji. It's back to Gregor Kobel. Akanji. To the midfield for Embolo. Again, it's tight defending from Tahirovic. Here's Sunic. Begovic. Demirovic, nice layoff. Kolasinac could have gone for goal himself. Went looking for Dzeko. Vidma's in the way. Got his head up, Kolasinac. Too many bodies between him and Dzeko. And a corner for Bosnia. Kerim Alibegovic takes it short. And it's a foul by Benjamin Tahirovic. Bit of a letdown. Showed versus Canada that set pieces can be really effective for them. Well, a bit of a waste. Here's Kobel. Akanji. Rodriguez. Ndoye trying to just drift away from Dedic. Instead it's to Freuler. Now here's Rieder. Rodriguez. Freuler right in the middle of the park. Elvedi. Evischer. Elvedi. Into 3 minutes of added time. Rodriguez. Too long though for Fabian Rieder. Ends up in the gloves of Nicola Vasil. Well, two other teams in this group, Canada and Qatar. They will kick off in around 2 hours and 15 minutes. We'll keep a close eye on this one, I'm sure, in the build-up to their fixture later on. Here's Ndoye. Held off Katic. Ndoye. He checked back, stumbled. Lost the ball out to Ivan Sunic. And now here's Tahirovic. Oh, it's Vasil to clear the danger. Elvedi's header down to Xhaka. Space down the left to Ricardo Rodriguez. Half decent delivery towards Embolo. Mihajlovic got it away. Now Amar Memic. All guided over the touchline by Mikel Erbischer. Pat on the back from Sergei Barbares for Amar Memic. He's having to work really hard. Tracking the Swiss wide men. Kolasinac. So he's flicked on by Dzeko. Demirovic in offside position. Xhaka. Across to Ricardo Rodriguez. Xhaka again. 10 yards inside the Bosnia half of the pitch. Floated out to the left, onto the chest of Rieder. Now Ndoye in the penalty area. Katic got across, and it's back off Ndoye for another goal kick. Nikola Vasil will spot up the goal kick, but we suspect there won't be much more to this half now. It's a half that has worked in Bosnia's favour. For all the Swiss dominance in this first half, as João Pinheiro blows the whistle for the break. Bosnia have kept them at arm's length, and Switzerland once again have struggled to carve out clear-cut opportunities. Nowhere near as dominant as they were against Qatar in terms of shots. Edin Dzeko has combined with Ali Begovic to show a little bit of threat as well. It's goalless at the break in LA, and there are some concerned faces amongst the Swiss players. 15 minutes to reset, maybe rethink a little before the second half gets underway. But at half-time, still nothing to separate these two sides. It's Switzerland 0, Bosnia 0. But for Bosnia, that's been the frustration for them. A little tweak during the first hydration break meant that early success in the opening exchanges for Switzerland did evaporate. Alan Doy had a bit of joy in the first 20 minutes or so, but since that point has struggled to make as much of an impact. Briel Embolo has been a figure much on the periphery, and as things stand, you would suspect it would have to be a moment of real quality or a mistake to decide this. They are back underway in Los Angeles. No changes at half-time. So we are, as we started in terms of personnel, one of the eyebrow-raising changes, especially from the Swiss side, was the inclusion of Fabian Rieder instead of Ruben Vargas. We might see him later on. But will be a chance, 3 chances specifically for these two managers to make changes. 5 substitutes available for them, but they have to be made in 3 windows. Canada and Qatar will be watching on, and pretty much they will be enjoying what they've seen so far. Long from Kobel, straight down the middle, and the second ball was picked up by Remo Freuler. Now Rodriguez, stooping was Maharamovic. Sunic to Amar Dedic. Good challenge from Rodriguez. Rieder. Zahirovic wins it back, no foul given, and now Bosnia can escape. Dzeko in the centre circle, holds it up well and is fouled by Granit Xhaka. That's what he does ever so well, the 40-year-old Bosnia captain, surrounded by players there in the centre circle, as it was played into him at a decent click as well. I remind you of those lineups. It's Nikola Vasil in goal, the back 4 or 5 for Bosnia. Kolasinac, Maharamovic, Katic, Dedic, and we think Memic is dropping a little bit deeper as well. Sunic has occupied that role as well. Kerim Alajbegovic is the teenager who I think has a bright future ahead. As we already mentioned, Ivan Sunic in the squad, as is Benjamin Zahirovic. Ermedin Demirovic working alongside Edin Dzeko up front for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Kanji slips, Demirovic trying to put just as much pressure on Elvedi. He'll squeeze it back to Kobel. He's between the sticks this afternoon for Switzerland. Back 4 of Sylvan Vidmer at right back. Ricardo Rodriguez, the long-serving defender on the left-hand side. Elvedi and Akanji, the 2 centre-backs. Erbischer, Xhaka and Freuler across the middle. Rieder and Ndoye offering support to Briel Embolo. Here's Xhaka. And now Rodriguez. Embolo, heavy touch. Amar Dedic. Via Katic to the goalkeeper Vasil. Sunic. Dedic. Katic away. Elvedi underneath it. Taken down by the evergreen Dzeko. Sunic back to Katic on the right-hand side here. Nikola Katic to Vasil. Not much more he could do there under pressure from Embolo than put that out of play for another Swiss throw-in. Here's Embolo in the centre, in the penalty area. A 2 for company. He was dispossessed by Katic, and Ndoye charges down the clearance. Will be another goal kick. Nikola Katic now playing his football for Schalke in Germany. Remember time at Rangers. He also had a spell at Plymouth as well. I remember he was winner in the FA Cup against Liverpool back in February of last year. '15 appearances in the Championship as well. As we mentioned, now with Schalke in the German second division. There's Rodriguez. Akanji. Move his way through a couple of bodies for clipping one out to Ndoye. Shifted onto his right. Ndoye tries to squeeze one into the near post. It's good handling from Vasil, because Remo Freuler was there waiting for any rebound. Sunjic has a bit of space at the base of midfield. Now Tahirovic finds Dzeko. Begovic finds Demirovic. On the left-hand side here, Bosnia. Begovic has caught the eye in little flashes, the 18-year-old. Kolasinac trying to pick his way through. Begovic is closed down, but they'll have the throw, Bosnia. Well, the former professional poker player Sergei Barbarez yet to show his hand. Maybe a chance to go all in tonight. Throw his chips into the pot and go for broke. It's been a less than convincing Swiss performance. Ob Swiss says the Swiss supporters inside this stadium in Los Angeles still a sense of nervousness. And that's given away a poor pass, and one that was matched by Tarik Maharamovic. It's back with Ndoye on the left-hand side here. Rodriguez. Freuler, decent ball in. Glancing header from Erbischer, who's wide of the mark. Well, they were in front for 77 minutes of their first game, Switzerland, after Briel Embolo scored that opening penalty. At this point, still struggling to make inroads. Ndoye, Xhaka. Rieder let it run. Didn't read it, Rieder. Akanji. Rieder. Rodriguez. Freuler in essential position. Now he'll find Xhaka, little back heel from Erbischer, back to Freuler, breaks down though. Bump in the back from Akanji, no foul says the referee. And Ndoye will take it on, he was fed by Erbischer. It's off a Bosnian body and that'll be a corner. It's heading Dzeko down. And it's an angry atmosphere from the majority Bosnian crowd inside this Los Angeles stadium. He's back on his feet again. Erbischer. standing over the set piece. Coming from the near side, the in-swinger. High towards the back post. Again, Kolasinac and Haramovic. Combine and Joy with the bicycle kick. Brilliant from Dan and Doy, but matched by the save from Nikola Vasil. Exquisite delivery from Xhaka, and Doy adjusts and pivots, and that's a clean contact with the back heel, the bicycle kick, I should say. The better option might have been Fabian Rieder, who's the next man along. It was offside. I seem to remember the Swiss legend Xherdan Shaqiri scoring something very similar in tournaments gone past. That would have been up there as one of the great Swiss goals in tournament football. Rodriguez held off the ball by Sinic. Rodriguez couldn't escape from Omar Dedic. Here's Tahirovic. Kolasinac didn't limp off for the first game against Canada, but he's been moving all right. Sinic straight behind for a goal kick. Begovic for the effort. Vidma. Valverde. Vidma. Freuler nods it on. Tahirovic is too strong. Dzeko tried the first time layoff. Valverde was in the way. It's Kolasinac. Ball bouncing out towards the left-hand side. Amar Mimic keeps it moving. Much better from Bosnia in this second half in terms of keeping the ball and Switzerland moving. Here's Omar Dedic. Sinic. Tahirovic. Bosnia trying to work it down that left-hand side. Memic wins the throw-in, takes it quickly. Demirovic is just trying to sneak in behind Valverde, who's been forced to put it out of play from the Bosnian throw-in, this time level with the edge of the penalty area, down that left-hand side. Bosnia have game changers on the bench. Jovo Lukic, who scored the opener in the 21st minute against Canada from the corner. It's Carl Larin that levelled things up for Canada. Here's Ndoye trying to streak away. It was just held there by Amar Dedic. The Bosnian fullback is shown a yellow card, and it's a pretty clear shirt pull on Dan Ndoye. That's the pace to escape. And Dedic realised that very early in that move. Rodriguez looking for Embolo. So a tough game, Braille Embolo. Averaging 3 goals per game in this tournament, just 1 goalless draw. That was that famous point for Cabo Verde against Spain. Stahirovic down the left-hand side, and Akanji was caught by Edin Dzeko, and he'll receive a yellow card. Just a little bit late, and he came down on top of Akanji's right foot. Half an hour to play, still goalless between Switzerland and Bosnia and Herzegovina in this Group B encounter. Freuler, Elvedi, Akanji. Dispossessed from behind by Demirovic. There's Ali Begovic. Three Swiss players combined to win it back. Real Embolo caught from behind near the halfway by Mihajlovic. Free kick taken quickly. Here's Ricardo Rodriguez inside left channel. Xhaka thought about taking the shot on from 30 yards. Instead it's out to Dan and Doy here. Rieder and Doy. And Stedic did the right thing. Knew that Dan and Doyle was on his shoulder, so just pokes you behind for a corner. They had high expectations here. Switzerland entered the tournament after a comfortable qualifying route, finished top of the qualification group ahead of Kosovo, Slovenia and Sweden. Maybe it's just ball in, Embolo! Nikola Vasil gets down low to his near post and almost claws it out from underneath, next to the post. Might have just been sneaking in there. Bottom left side of Nikola Vasil's goal. Dzeko was fouled immediately after. Katic it was with the first contact onto Brielle Embolo. Nikola Vasil comes from good goalkeeping stock. His father, a backup goalkeeper in both 98 and 2002 for Croatia. And he's shown his class a couple of times already this afternoon. Changes now for Bosnia. First of which is Edin Dzeko. And Benjamin Tahirovic is going to follow him off. It's Bajraktarevic and Basic coming on. Izmir Bajraktarevic scored the winning penalty in the shootout to book their place here. Plays football for PSV Eindhoven, the 21-year-old. It's a childhood home video from Appleton, Wisconsin went viral, showing a 5-year-old Izmir Bajraktarevic scoring goals in his back garden, wearing an oversized Edin Dzeko shirt after he chose Bosnia over the United States of America at senior level. Here he is replacing his hero on the grandest stage of all. Emotional story. His parents fled to America to escape the Srebrenica genocide. He's very proud of his heritage. Izmir Bajraktarevic says, when people ask me where I'm from, I say I'm Bosnian. It's my blood and it's my roots. Assisted his international hero on debut back in 2024 as well. Took just 5 minutes to set up Edin Dzeko against the Netherlands. Kolasinac goes down, this time a card for a Swiss player, Elvedi. There's also Benjamin Tahirovic, as we mentioned, who went off. He's been replaced by the old-fashioned orchestrator who coaches football for Astana, Ivan Basic. No more Dzeko as a target. It will be Basic to take this. It's in by Basic, away from the edge of the 6-yard box by Erbischer. It's Basic again, that one closed down by Rieder. Kolasinac by Begovic. Begovic went down just outside the penalty area, no foul given. Akterovic again. Another Bosnian player goes down off the ball and stays down. Referee not interested. But Bosnia still in possession. Sunjic. He seems to be in some discomfort over there. Sead Kolasinac, as we already said, he hobbled off against Canada. It was one of the question marks about whether he'd be fit for this game. The likes of Arjan Malic on the bench. He was fast-tracked into the World Cup squad just before the tournament kicked off. A replacement for Nidal Celic. Can slip into any position across the back line. He's represented Bosnia at under 18 and under 19 levels. He also qualified for Austria and had conversations with Ralf Rangnick. Kolasinac will persist for the moment. Here's Ndoye on the edge of the penalty area. Also clipped by Katic, the referee again. Not interested. Dedic. There's Eli Begovic on the left-hand side, right-footed ball into the penalty area. Demirovic was underneath it, but so was Akanji. Dedic. From range, it moved in the air. Kobel got a big hand to it. And suddenly, the confidence is coursing through the Bosnian players. And that momentum just broken a little. It's come at the worst time, this hydration break for Bosnia. But just what Switzerland needed, an opportunity to get their heads in order. Because at the moment, it looks like Bosnia are the side who are favourites to win this group in comparison to their opponents. Well, just before that break, Sead Kolasinac was down. Nobody really embodies the intense physical battle than Sead Kolasinac. His journey perfectly mirrors the story of this new-look Bosnian squad. He was born in Germany to parents who fled the conflict in the 90s. Actually worked as a nightclub bouncer as a teenager while grinding through the youth ranks at Schalke. Built a global reputation on old-school toughness. He famously confronted armed attackers on the streets of London a few years back to protect a teammate as well. He's one of the few players on the pitch tonight with previous major tournament experience for his country. And that's the resilience that Sergei Barbarez has built his team around. And it's that kind of energy, that kind of mentality that is motivating the tens of thousands of Bosnian supporters in the stadium tonight. It certainly does feel like an away game for Switzerland here in Los Angeles. "20 minutes remaining off the 90, and Bosnia starting to cause Switzerland a few problems. Game has just opened up a bit here in the closing stages. I think Bosnia just watched and waited for their moment and can see here that there is an opportunity for what would be a famous win. After starting with that physical and compact collection of personnel, started to bring on the technical players, the likes of Bajraktarevic and Ivan Basic. The stadium speakers pumping out "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey. I think the Bosnians have just started to believe, as Switzerland are going to take the opportunity to make a couple of changes. Mikael Erbischer and Dan Ndoye heading for the bench, as is Fabian Rieder. On comes Ruben Vargas and Johan Manzambi, who is much talked about in the build-up to the tournament. Plays his football for Freiburg, just 20 years old. He's an exciting young player. He's also been joined by Sevilla's Djibril Sow. Well, in Dzeko's absence here, Kolasinac now has the captain's armband around that rather sizable left bicep. Demirovic tried to juggle. Away by Elvedi. Picked up in midfield by Basic. Well, interesting to see how Johan Manzambi does here. It's been universally labelled the breakout Swiss discovery of the last year. Really exploded out of nowhere at Freiburg, and a senior call-up in summer of last year. His first senior start with the Swiss side saw a spectacular goal and assist during a comprehensive 4-0 friendly victory over the United States. Dedic has to be careful as he pulls Akanji to ground. Clever play from the Swiss veteran. Well, during that hydration break, Sergei Barbaros took the opportunity to stride out onto the pitch and urge the Bosnian fans to just lift the decibel levels a bit further. I'm not sure they've got much more in them. It's absolutely cacophonous in this stadium. Here's Manzambi. Finds Ruben Vargas. Vargas tries to fizz it across the box. Backs to Vargas. Towards the back post. Header away by Katic in the volley. Oh, brilliant goal from Manzambi. Johan Manzambi has arrived at this tournament, and in spectacular style too. A team full of experience. The likes of Rodriguez, Akanji and Granit Xhaka, but it's the youngest player in the Swiss squad at 20 years of age who pulls off a wonderful piece of skill. Started the move in the middle, found Vargas, bit of fortune the way that it bounced back to Vargas off of Sunjic. Ball towards the back post, flicked up in the air by Basic. What a finish. It's slightly behind Manzambi, who's got a little shove in the back from Basic for his troubles. Absolutely hammers it towards goal. Vasil gets a big hand to it, but can only push it into the top corner. Johan Manzambi stares down the barrel of the camera and says, "I'm here, I have arrived." Look at that goal. relief amongst the Swiss supporters. Just what they've been missing all afternoon. A little bit of X factor, a little bit of unpredictability. And that's what Johan Manzambi brings you. It's been clocked at 79 miles an hour, his volley. And here he is in the middle of the park again, Manzambi. Tries to drill one out towards Vargas, intercepted though by Dedic. Scored in qualification against Sweden as well. His fourth goal for his country. Rodriguez. Back to Akanji. Took him just 4 touches, Johan Manzambi, to score the opener. Long from Kobel. Heavy touch by Mihajlovic. Vasil was on the spot to clear the danger. You have to feel for Bosnia and Herzegovina here, because they made a really good account of themselves, as they did against Canada. It's Vasil in possession. Dakterovic is dispossessed. Vargas. Rodriguez. Xhaka. Rodriguez gives it away by Dakterovic. Akanji finds Vargas. Now here's Johan Manzambi popping up on the right wing now. Brushes off Kolasinac. Still gets his pass away. Now Xhaka tries to turn it in behind for Vargas. Mihajlovic is in the way. Suddenly the Swiss have all the energy. Basic. Mimic. Now Katic. Basic on halfway. Forward by Katic. Again, Dakterovic can't make it stick. Xhaka. So, Freuler. Manzambi in behind for Embolo. Slight challenge by Mihajlovic, and he's going to be shown a red card. It's just outside the penalty area. João Pinheiro sends off Mihajlovic. Doesn't get any of the ball. A challenge he probably has to try and make, as Briel Embolo would have been clean through. In the space of a couple of minutes, Bosnia and Herzegovina's hopes have gone up in smoke. And it's Johan Manzambi who has made all the difference for Switzerland. Nikola Vasil setting up his wall. They have a free kick here, Switzerland. This could really seal it. Xhaka with the left or Vargas with the right. Switzerland with a wall of their own. There's 5 in the wall for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Will be Vargas. It's drilled straight to the goalkeeper. Punches it away, Vasil. Wittmer swings it back in there. Second ball drops to Manzambi, edge of the penalty area. Now Vargas. Rodriguez. Vargas. Manzambi. Little drop of the shoulder. Manzambi gets to the byline. Tries the cut back. Katic is in the way. Vargas to take the corner. The in-swinger deep to the back post, punched away by Vasil. And Akhtarovic battling with Xhaka. It's the first red card of the tournament since that opening game where we saw 3 between Mexico and South Africa. Sergei Barbarech has got things to think about for the final game now against Qatar. And be without Tadic Mihajlovic. Here's Rodriguez. Xhaka. Rodriguez. Ruben Vargas. Xhaka. Akanji. Elvedi. Here's Wittmer. Freuler. Man of the moment, Manzambi. Xhaka. Here's Elvedi. Helped on its way around the corner. Here's Manzambi again. Embolo tried to let it run. Embolo finds Vargas, who makes it 2-0. Slides it into the bottom corner. And after 74 minutes of nerves, 5 minutes of brilliance from the 2 substitutes, Johan Manzambi and Ruben Vargas. Have given Switzerland control of this game. Clever from So initially. Found Manzambi. Embolo tried to let it run to So, who was making a late dart from the edge of the box. Gets a second bite of it. Vargas is unmarked. One touch to settle himself, the other to tuck it into the bottom corner beyond Nikola Vasil's left hand. And surely that's all 3 points sealed. for Switzerland. A fourth change now for Switzerland. Sylvain Wittmer gives way. And Luca Hackes of Stuttgart comes on. There's also a Bosnian change. Where Ivan Sunic goes off, and on comes Amir Hadjiometovich, who spent his season on loan at Hull City. Manzambi. Marquez is there on his shoulder, and will take the resulting throw-in. Manzambi. And 1-2 by Nikola Vasil. To the head of Rodriguez. Now Vargas streaking away to his left. Here is Ruben Vargas. Into the 6-yard box, so close to Embolo. Brilliant ball from Ruben Vargas. Brian Embolo just couldn't quite get on the end of it. Majan Manzambi is down. He's hobbling around out there a little. And Embolo goes off. Switzerland's fifth and final change. And it's Cedric Eaton who comes on. Playing football for Rangers a few years ago under Stephen Gerrard in Scotland. 6'3" of him. Five goals for Switzerland, often used in this kind of role. As a so-called finisher from the bench. Here's Manzambi. Looks like he's moving all right now. And works it out to the right-hand side. Here's Hackes. Freuler, Elvedi, Akanji, Rodriguez, Vargas. Back to Rodriguez, lovely ball from Xhaka! Manzambi again! A tap-in from 6 yards. A cleverly worked goal, but it had to be Manzambi. And suddenly Switzerland looks serene in California. It's a scoreline that won't reflect the balance of the game. Brilliant. Xhaka to Ruben Vargas, who puts it on a plate for Johan Manzambi, lets it run across his body and just fades the little finish out of reach for Nikola Vasil. And Johan Manzambi, the 20-year-old, is surely now, even Murat Yakin, something to think about. As Vargas gives it away, you really do have to cast your mind back to that hydration break. At the start of this second half, Bosnia were all over Switzerland. Then the referee stopped the game for that opportunity for both players to go and take on some fluids. And it was a massive momentum shift as there's a change for Bosnia. Alay Begovic goes off. And Ermin Mamic, the 21-year-old of Slovan Liberec, comes on. And those hydration breaks rear their ugly heads again. Now, you would have probably put your money on Switzerland winning this game this afternoon in Los Angeles. But with Bosnia causing the Swiss loads of problems, you never know what might have happened if it hadn't been interrupted in the way it was. Late Bosnian corner here. Every goal could count now. Punched away by Kobel! Brilliant finish from the edge of the box! What a goal that is from Ermin Mamic! Might well be his first touch as well. Punched away by Kobel, right onto his right boot. And he's thundered it past Gregor Kobel, whose clean sheet is spoiled. Brilliant finish. Through a crowd of bodies. And what a way to score your first goal for your national side. A thundering effort from the edge of the box on the volley. They won't win the game, Bosnia and Herzegovina, but they've given their fans a real moment to remember. At the end of the group stage of this tournament, you never know what goal difference and goals conceded and goals scored might count for, with the best third place performers also going through to the round of 32. Still certainly within their grasp, Bosnia and Herzegovina. To win their final game of the group stage against Qatar, the perceived wisdom is 4 points will probably see you through to the knockout stages. Xhaka chests it down for So. Now Freuler. Anywhere will do for the moment. And Iten, appendage by Sead Kolasinac. Akanji. It's Freuler. Akanji through to Eaton. Looking for Manzambi. Enough of a touch on the ball. That's another rash challenge and a penalty. It was a tired-looking challenge. By Amir Hadziametovic. Looked clear-cut initially. It's Djibril Sow who gets to the ball first. There's contact, he makes the most of it, so catches the trailing leg. It's Amar Memic with the challenge, in fact. He missed the ball, he made contact. The question for Dennis Higler in the VAR booth at the moment is there enough to overturn the referee's decision? And it's been confirmed. Well, Switzerland started the tournament with a penalty against Qatar. Rael Embolo made no mistake with that one. It's Granit Xhaka who steps up for what might be the last kick of the game here to restore that 3-goal margin. He scored 5 from 5 over the years, Granit Xhaka. Switzerland's captain tucks it past Nikola Vasil, who went the right way. But Switzerland, after a nervy afternoon in the Hollywood Hills, with a blockbuster finale. An emphatic scoreline for Switzerland. And that will be the final action of the afternoon in Los Angeles. The Swiss players come together and celebrate this win. A win that for a long time this afternoon didn't look like it was going to be as clear-cut as this. In fact, for moments in the game, Bosnia and Herzegovina may well have had aspirations of winning this themselves. But it's Switzerland who will move to the top of Group B. Bosnia and Herzegovina, despite a really good account of themselves, find themselves with just a point now after their first 2 games. Once again, it's been one of the stories of this tournament. Those hydration breaks which upset the momentum where Bosnia were on top and causing Gregor Kobel and his defence all sorts of problems. It was the introduction of Johan Manzambi and Ruben Vargas that really changed the game for Switzerland, injected pace and some direct running. Manzambi with 2 goals, Vargas with an assist and a goal to take charge of the game. A moment of brilliance late on as Ermin Mamic scored his first international goal with a thunderbolt from the edge of the penalty area to beat Gregor Kobel. But really, from the moment that Tarik Muharemovic was sent off, Bosnia were always going to struggle to live with Switzerland. We'll see the second game of this second round of games in Group B in around an hour's time. And they've got a lot to live up to, Canada and Qatar. Switzerland's tournament is finally up and running after disappointment in the first game. It's a blockbuster afternoon in LA in their second. Full time, and it's finished. Switzerland 4, Bosnia and Herzegovina 1.
Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page.